Right now, trucks are catching fire sitting still in the garage. Engine off, key pulled, nobody within 100 feet of them. Dozens of fires are already on record, and the government has done something it almost never does. It has banned more than 1 million trucks from the garage. That is a whole city of pickups ordered out into the driveway because they are not safe parked indoors. Park it outside. Keep it away from the house. Because these can burn your home down while they sit there, turned off, doing nothing. And here is the part that should stop you cold. On some of them, the fix already failed. They caught fire again after the dealer swore it was repaired. 12 trucks are on this list. And number 1 is the worst of the bunch because it does not carry one fire risk. It carries 2. In the very same truck, 2 separate reasons the government says, park it outside. Is yours one of the 12? Let us find out. Number 12. The Rivian R1T. We are going to open with the new money. The Rivian R1T is the fancy electric pickup, and for a while it was the darling of everybody who wanted to look like they were saving the planet from the seat of a truck that stickers at $70,000. That is a whole year of most people's take-home pay, sitting in the driveway. Here is what they are not saying. Consumer Reports put the electric pickups head-to-head, and the R1T landed dead last of the bunch. And on the fire question, this is a big lithium battery pack riding under the floor, the same chemistry that has parking garages and downtown parking decks across the country quietly posting new rules about where you can and cannot charge an electric vehicle overnight. That is the part that stings. You did not buy a truck to be told where it is allowed to sleep. But if the deck under your apartment will not let you charge it inside, and your own garage feels like a gamble, what exactly did 70 grand buy you? A truck you park in the weather. We are just getting warmed up. Number 11. The electric Hummer. The Hummer came back as an electric monster. 9,000 pounds of truck, more horsepower than you will ever use, and a battery pack the size of a mattress. Then came the recall that told owners flat out, do not drive it, do not charge it. Water can get into that battery pack, and once water finds its way into a high-voltage battery, you have got the ingredients for a short and a fire. So the fix was not park outside. The fix was, do not use the truck at all until we look at it. And here is the second problem nobody warned you about. 9,000 pounds. A lot of older parking garages and weight-limited decks were never built for that. Some of them post the limit right on the ramp. So between the do not charge recall and the sheer weight, the electric Hummer is a truck a lot of garages simply do not want inside. Think about that. It is too heavy and too hot to keep at home. Number 10. The electric Silverado and the electric Sierra. GM built me a paycheck for 34 years, so this one is personal. I am Frank, 71 now, and I spent most of those years on the Silverado and Sierra line at Flint Truck Assembly. The electric Silverado and the electric Sierra are the electric versions of the 2 trucks I helped bolt together. Enormous battery, brand new platform, and a brand new platform means a brand new list of things nobody has learned to fix yet. These trucks have already stacked up early recalls, and any electric truck that big is carrying a battery pack that the safety people watch closely, because a battery fire is not like a gas fire. A gas fire, you put it out. A battery fire reignites over and over for hours, and it does it while the truck is parked and charging. That is why every serious guide on these tells you the same thing. Charge it outside, not in the attached garage, not overnight while you are asleep in the next room. I love the nameplate. I built the nameplate. But the electric one is a different animal, and it is not one you want plugged in 10 feet from the bedroom. Number 9. The Nissan Titan XD Diesel. The Titan XD was Nissan's swing at the diesel crowd, the guys who wanted torque without paying full heavy-duty money. It had a Cummins diesel in the nose, which sounds like a selling point, and for towing it was fine. Here is the fire angle. The exhaust gas cooler on these diesels can crack. When it cracks, engine coolant turns to vapor and gets pulled right into the intake, and under the wrong conditions, that vapor ignites inside the engine. A fire under the hood, from a part that was supposed to be cutting your emissions. Nissan has already been down the recall road on the exhaust cooler for these trucks. Nissan has since walked away from the whole Titan line entirely. The diesel got dropped, and then the truck did too. When the manufacturer quietly kills the model, that tells you more than any brochure ever will. This one is fading out, and I would not go chasing a used one on the strength of that Cummins badge. Number 8. The Toyota Tundra, the twin-turbo years. Now, people are going to fight me on this one, because it is a Toyota, and Toyota is supposed to be the safe pick, but I go where the paperwork goes. The newest Tundra, with the twin-turbo V6, they call the V35A, has a real problem, and it is a big one. Machining debris got left inside the engine during the build. Little bits of metal where no metal should be. That debris can work its way into the bottom end and kill a main bearing. And when a main bearing lets go, the engine can seize, lose power, and run hot enough to worry anybody about what is happening under the hood. Toyota recalled these by the hundreds of thousands, more than 250,000 trucks and their luxury cousins. And here is the part that got me. The first remedy was a whole new engine. Then Toyota downgraded the fix to an inspection. They went from replace the motor to look at the motor. When even Toyota starts trimming the repair, you pay attention. The king has problems too, and the owners who refuse to believe that are the ones who get the biggest shock. Number 7. The Ford F-150 Lightning. This is America's best-selling truck, turned into an electric one, the F-150 Lightning, and I will give it this. It is fast and it is quiet, and it will run your whole house in a blackout. But the safety people have it on the list for a high-voltage battery that can develop an internal short. In plain English, the battery can short out inside itself, and that is the exact thing that starts an electric vehicle fire. There have already been fire reports tied to these packs and at least one injury claim on file. Ford told owners to cap the charge at 80% until the truck could be inspected, and dealers have been replacing entire battery arrays on the affected trucks. Cap it at 80%. Think about what that means. You bought the truck with the big range, and now the safety fix is charge it less, and the quiet part, the part the dealer skips. Do not charge it overnight in the attached garage. The most trusted nameplate in America, and they are telling you to keep it out of the house. That is a hard thing to swallow. Real quick, before we get into the top 6, if this list is saving you from a bad buy, do me a favor and tap that like button. That is the one thing that tells the algorithm to put this in front of the next guy who is about to sign for a truck he should be walking away from. All right, back to it. Number 6. The Jeep Gladiator, the manual transmission trucks. I have got a soft spot for the Gladiator. It is the one truck left that still feels like a truck ought to feel. But the ones with the manual gearbox earned their spot on this list the hard way. The clutch on these can overheat and the pressure plate can fracture. When that piece comes apart, it throws hot fragments, and hot fragments plus fuel vapor equals a fire. Jeep put out a park away from structures warning while they worked on it. Here is the part that should make you nervous. They have recalled this same clutch problem 3 separate times. 3. The first fix did not hold, so they came back. The second one did not fully hold, so they came back again. When a manufacturer has to keep coming back to the same fire, that is not a fluke, that is a defect they have not licked yet. I would not park one of those manuals in an attached garage on the strength of a recall that has already been reopened twice. Number 5. The Ford Maverick. The little Ford Maverick was the feel-good story of the last few years, a small, cheap hybrid pickup that regular people could actually afford. And it sold like crazy, which is exactly why this next number is so ugly. On the hybrid Mavericks, the engine can breach. The block or the oil pan can crack open, and when that happens, engine oil and fuel vapor get released right into the engine compartment, right next to hot ignition sources. Ford's own recall language says it plain. That can result in an engine compartment fire. This is not a handful of trucks. Ford recalled well over 100,000 vehicles across the affected hybrids, the Maverick among them. That is enough trucks to fill every driveway in a mid-sized town, all carrying the same fire risk under the hood. And then the kicker. Some of the trucks that got fixed the first time were fixed wrong, and Ford had to recall them a second time to fix the fix. So the cheap, sensible, do-everything-right little truck turned into a park-outside truck for a whole lot of families who thought they were playing it safe. That is the one that really gets me, because those are the buyers who could least afford the surprise. Number 4. The Ram 2500 and 3500 diesel. Now we are into the heavy iron. The Ram 2500 and 3500 with the 6.7 Cummins is a working man's truck. Contractors, farmers, guys who load tools at 5 in the morning, these are $60,000 and $70,000 and $80,000 machines that people build their whole living around. And Ram had to recall about 30,000 of these diesels for an intake heater relay that can overheat, short out, and start a fire. There have been 6 confirmed fires on record. 5 of them happened while the engines were running, but one of them, and this is the whole reason it is on this list, one of them happened after the ignition was already turned off. The truck was parked. The key was out, and it caught fire anyway. The safety people told owners the same thing. Park it outside, away from buildings, away from other vehicles. Now picture the farmer who keeps that truck in the barn, next to the hay and the equipment and everything he owns. He is not just risking a truck, he is risking the whole operation. And the recall grew out of two earlier, smaller campaigns, which means Ram was circling this fire for a while before they got their arms all the way around it. That is a working truck you cannot fully trust to sit still. Number 3. The Ram 1500 Eco Diesel. This is the one I would beg a man not to buy used without reading every word of the history. The Ram 1500 Eco Diesel, the light-duty diesel half-ton from the middle of the last decade. The exhaust gas cooler on these cracks from the heat cycling. Once it cracks, coolant turns to vapor, gets sucked into the intake, and ignites inside the intake manifold. Read that again. The fire starts inside the engine's own intake, under the hood, while you drive, and in the worst cases while it sits. The safety people logged well over 1,200 fire complaints and dozens of field reports before this was through, and owners got the park away from structures warning. But here's the detail that tells you everything. It went to court, and the settlement that came out of it set up a fund. That fund pays an owner $3,000 every single time one of these trucks catches fire, as long as they have got a report to prove it. That is a bounty on your own truck burning. Sit with that for a second. The manufacturer did not just recall the truck, they budgeted for it to keep burning. They wrote your fire right into the accounting and set up a window to file the claim. When a company builds a payout schedule for your truck catching fire, that is not a recall anymore. That is an admission. Number 2 would be a fine place to stop. But we are not stopping because number 1 carries 2 of these, not 1. Number 1, the Ford Ranger. And here we are. The Ford Ranger. The mid-sized truck millions of people bought precisely because they wanted something simpler, smaller, and more honest than the giant rigs. The safe, sensible Ford. And it is number 1 on this list because it does not have one fire problem. It has 2 completely separate ones on the same truck. Here is the first. The engine block heater on these Rangers, the one that helps a cold climate truck start on a winter morning, can crack. When it cracks, it leaks coolant, and that leak can lead to an electrical short. A short means heat, and heat next to the wrong thing means a fire. And this one can happen with the truck parked and plugged in overnight on a cold night. That is a real federal recall. Park it outside. Now here is the second, the one that makes this truck the king of the list. There is a separate defect alleged in the way the cylinder head seals to the engine block. A flaw at that junction can let coolant leak straight into the cylinders. That leads to overheating, a warped head, a cracked block, and in the worst cases, an engine fire. That is a different fire, from a different part of the engine, on the very same truck. This one is being fought out in a class action lawsuit right now, and the owners in that suit say Ford's fixes so far are nothing but a band-aid on a problem that keeps coming back. So put it together. 1 truck, 2 independent ways to catch fire. A block heater that can shorten the driveway on a cold night, and a head sealing flaw that can cook the engine off from the inside. 2 separate park outside reasons on 1 Ford Ranger. Imagine buying the sensible truck, the affordable one, the one you picked because you were being smart, and finding out it carries 2 distinct fire risks under the same hood. When something can fail with no warning, in your own garage while you are asleep in the next room, the stakes stop being about money. That is why the Ranger sits at number 1. So there they are. 12 trucks the government has told owners to keep out of the garage. Not because of how they crash. Because of what they can do sitting still, parked, turned off, in the one place you thought was safe. And notice the pattern. Half of this list is fires that start when nothing is happening at all. No key, no driver, no warning. That is the thing the brochures will never tell you, and the used car lot absolutely will not. None of this means every one of these trucks is a rolling bomb. Most of them will never light up. But every last one carries a park outside order behind it, and you deserve to know that before you sign, not after. So do me one favor before you go. Which one of these is sitting in your garage right now, or which truck have you owned that either went the distance or scared the daylights out of you? Tell me down in the comments because I read them. And if you want the straight shooting version of all of this, the buying traps, the model years to skip, and how to walk a truck before you ever hand over a dime, I put together a book called The Right Ride. It covers exactly this kind of thing. I am not going to hard sell you. There is a link down in the description if you want to look. Either way, do me a favor and hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. If it has a park outside order on it, park it outside. Keep it out of the garage and keep your house standing. This is Frank. Drive safe and buy smarter than they think you will.